Looking for something to watch during the writer's strike? Boy, have we got suggestions for you. This is MacVoices. Today's MacVoices is supported by Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Go to factormeals.com/MacVoices50 and use the code MacVoices50 to get 50% off.
Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is MacVoices Live. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, whatever time that is, wherever you are. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. We would love to have you join us, along with the folks who are in the chat room already, providing commentary and requests and some very, very unusual comments tonight so far, but we won't get into that. So as you can tell, I'm in a little bit different location. Things are a bit different. I'm traveling, but I'm trying out a different travel microphone. I'm using my iPhone as the camera as usual. So at least the look is quality-wise is good. Not quite so sure about the background of the lighting, but you do what you can. This is one of those weeks where we really didn't have a whole lot in the way of actual tech news that we felt was worth commenting on. So this is going to be sort of a summer break kind of episode with the actors' strike and the actors being in solidarity with the writers' strike. A lot of productions are shutting down, and we felt like it might be a great time to look at some of the TV shows and series that we all enjoy that we're maybe planning on catching up on or trying to catch up on, as well as some other podcasts that don't have anything to do with any of the entertainment industry. So I ask our crack team of people here to share some of those things with you, what they're enjoying, what they plan to enjoy. Maybe it'll give you some ideas just in case you run out of things to pay attention to. So let's go around the room. We'll find out who's here and take it from there. First up, as he always is, top left of my screen, Mr. David Ginsburg. David, great to have you as always.
Great to be here, Chuck. I'm glad to have some chats here, have a little bit of fun here. You know, it is summer, and we should have a little bit of fun here. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, we like to have fun here. And if you don't believe that, you should subscribe to MacVoices After Dark, and you can see how much fun we have. Next up, looking well, he's the guy with the tie tonight, Mr. Brian Flanigan-Arthurs. Brian, you're back to distinguished.
Yep, back to school. The kids are back and dressed for the part. Looking forward to tonight's topic. Not just to share a couple of ideas, but hear some great ones too, and be able to add them to my list as well. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, we should mention too that you have a new mic.
Yeah,
does it sound great?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited that it's sounding okay. So thank you.
Yeah, for the geeks among us, which means everybody. What USB mic is it?
So it's a Razer Siren X, and just got it last week. Only had a little bit of time to play with it, but so far I think so good.
Well, you sound great. You sound great.
Thank you.
Next up, advertising hypertext. For some reason, I think he's selling advertising space on his chest. Mr. Jim Ray. Jim, it's good to have you.
Hello. It's hard to believe kids are going back to school, and it's only August 1st. That's not the way it worked when I was in school.
No, and ours actually went back. Technically, it was July 31st. Way too early.
That's crazy.
Brian, does that mean you're on a little bit more of a 12-month schedule as opposed to the typical 2 to 3 month summers off?
No, there are many school districts in our area that are switching to what they call modified year-round. Essentially, the difference is instead of getting a week off for spring break, they get 2. Instead of 2 weeks for winter break, they get 3, and which basically reduces the summer by a few weeks. That movement is still very popular and picking up even more. However, in our case, a lot of the schools otherwise that are on more the traditional schedule, they're going back this week as well. So we may have gone back a day or two earlier than them, but there are many schools in the area and in surrounding cities that are also going back this week.
Oh, okay. Just, I'm curious because I know it seems to be evolving, and even where I live, it seems like the summers are getting shorter for the kids and the teachers. So maybe it's just part of natural evolution.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mr. Eric Bolden is here, very much still in his Japanese Zen garden. Eric, it's great to see you.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. I'm sort of pretending like I'm not back from that short trip I took to Macstock. I'm still living there for a little while.
Okay, and nothing wrong with a little fantasy. Nothing wrong with a little fantasy. Speaking of fantasy, Jeff Gamet is here. And I'm afraid what doors that might have opened. Miss Jeff,
Oh, no, I think you're secretly excited about those doors, Chuck. And that's okay. I don't judge. Chuck, I realized as you're doing the introductions, I have hugged everyone on the panel.
Oh, okay.
That means you're all special people.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
No, that's just it. I realized there's an entire panel here tonight, and I have hugged every single one of you.
Okay, well, Chaplain, there you go. There's something for you to aspire to. A hug from Jeff.
I have plenty. You have not hugged me. I gave you a hug at when we were at which conference was it? It was Mac Tech. I mean, we met. I'm pretty sure there was no hug. I thought I gave you a hug. I know it was friendly. I enjoyed meeting you a lot, and I'm really glad to have gotten to know you so much better over the last 3 years. But I don't think we progressed to a hug in 90 minutes in Torrance. Oh, right. For me, it only takes seconds.
I was just going to say 90 minutes. I think 90 seconds.
It's an eternity in hug time. I thought I gave you a hug. I couldn't swear to it, but well, then I definitely owe you a first hug or refresher hug. I'll take it either way.
And with Jeff, hugs are like interest. They build up and build up. So the longer you wait, the bigger the hug's going to be.
That's right.
Just never so until it gets
just slighter. Just a little bit awkward.
This whole conversation is uncomfortable. So let's get on to our topic for tonight. You heard me give it the introduction. So let's start out maybe with a round of TV shows. I guess that's what you call them now, because I obviously would include streaming shows or services or, whatever. So, and I'm going to flip it around and start with Jeff. Jeff, anything that you think that folks should pay extra attention to, maybe that you've already seen or something that is on your watch list coming up?
I can give you a couple of things right off the top of my head if you'd like.
Sure.
The first one is the current season. So I suppose that's season 2 of Strange New Worlds. And even if you're not a big Star Trek fan, they're doing so many interesting things with the episodes this season, really pushing the envelope. And there's a lot of really fun things happening. The other thing I'll toss out, you just can't go wrong with this one. Good Omens 2 on Amazon Prime. The series.
Say it again.
Good Omens 2.
Good Omens 2. I don't even know that one.
Oh, Chuck, then you have a special surprise waiting for you. So Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett long ago wrote a book called Good Omens, and Amazon adapted that into a TV series. And so the whole book was one season. And then when it was wrapped up, that wrapped up with the book, or where the book ended. The thing is, Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett had written out all these notes and ideas for what a second book to follow up Good Omens could be. But Terry, unfortunately, passed away before they ever had a chance to come back and make that a reality. Neil Gaiman decided to take that content and work it into a second season for Good Omens. So since you don't know anything about Good Omens, here's a very basic premise for you. You have an angel, you have a demon. They are both on Earth. They both have roles that they play on Earth, and they realize the apocalypse is about to happen, and neither of them are very excited about the idea. And I'll just leave it there for you.
Okay. I've never been a big Terry Pratchett fan, but I'm definitely a Neil Gaiman fan. If you haven't read or watched the TV series, now I'm doing it, sorry, but American Gods, I mean, that is just so good. It will hook you so bad. So that right there makes me want to go and check this out. Even though I'm not a big fantasy person, this sounds like this could be very interesting.
I wouldn't even call this a fantasy series. I mean, it touches into that genre some, but this is not a fantasy series.
Do you consider it sci-fi, or is it social commentary with a fantasy twist? Or
I like that. So definitely a lot of social commentary happening, a lot of satire, and there's a little bit of fantasy happening as well.
Then you just added one to my list I was not even aware of. So thank you.
You're welcome, and I'm not going to apologize for all the time this is going to consume for you, because it will be time well spent.
I'll let you know.
Excellent.
Eric, how about you? Do you have anything that is on your rewatch list or must watch that you haven't done yet?
Star Trek has been good. Both new and the upcoming musical episode.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm hoping it will be memorable like the big musical Buffy episode, but we'll see. I think there's supposed to be a companion release of audio tracks for that coming out right afterwards, so that'll be fun too.
It is all original music just for that episode. So that's promising.
I have my fingers crossed. Should be same. And then on Mastodon, there is a hashtag All Star Trek, and there's a group watching of all of the Star Trek episodes from H&I think. So they write out what the episodes are each week, from original series, Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise. And then people chat, adding the hashtag to their comments, so it all shows up in one big, huge stream. And it's like being at a movie where everyone's chatting quietly.
Cool. That's interesting. I haven't stumbled across that yet. So this is dangerous. And so there's no spoiler here. The musical episode of Star Trek has been well publicized. We don't know what the plot's going to be, but it's going to be like you mentioned the episode of Buffy. So I'm not a big musical fan. In fact, I'm not a musical fan at all. So I really didn't care for the Buffy episode. I'm a little concerned about doing this with Strange New Worlds, but I'm willing to learn. So is anybody else just chomping at the bit to see this?
Well, always. It's in Strange New Worlds. You gotta. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
All right. Fair point, David. Okay.
Chuck, I'm very much looking forward to seeing it, just like I have looked forward to all of the other episodes this season where they've done something a little different. There's the tendency with Star Trek, at least for a lot of people, to get into this very narrow channel of, this is what Star Trek is, and anything that deviates from this formula is not Star Trek, and I hate it, sort of thing. And Strange New Worlds is saying, okay, that's fine for some of you, but there's the whole rest of the world that enjoys Star Trek, and there's so many things we can do under the guise of a sci-fi series. that you just couldn't do with any other series. So let's explore those things. And the musical episode is going to be one of those things. Imagine someone saying, so we're going to do the musical episode of Babylon 5 or Battlestar Galactica. You just can't make that fit. But Star Trek gives you a much broader canvas to work with. So why not take advantage of that bigger canvas?
Make a real good point. Because the episodic nature of Strange New Worlds, as opposed to the arc nature of Discovery and Picard, I mean, you're right, they would not have fit, or for Babylon 5. What else did you say? I'm sorry.
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica would not have worked there. So you're right. So, and they're doing some interesting things with it. There's no question about it. So I will watch it. There's no doubt about that. We'll just wait to see how it plays.
It will be divisive. I have no doubt.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, Web Bixby has joined us after wrestling Zoom to the ground. Web, it's good to see you.
Good evening. Thanks for, as Jeff says, thanks for letting me in again. So I have, I'm in my new office / studio. So I'm giving that's a real green screen behind me and everything. So anyway, good to be here. I'll get caught up. So.
Thank goodness I'm no longer the only one that can go to that stock.
What we're talking about.
Speaking of Battlestar Galactica, Chuck just went silent on us.
Silent.
Say we all.
Oh, I thought that was just us.
No, that it's just Chuck. I think what he was saying was,
that sounded more like Klingon.
Blah.
No, I think it was more like.
All right, so I'll try not to talk too much. But this is hotel Wi-Fi for you, and I paid for the extra speed too, mind you.
Today's Mac Voices is supported by Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Summer often means cutting corners on eating well so you can keep up with outdoor activities. But it doesn't have to be that way. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. That doesn't mean cutting corners on your healthy eating either. Stick to your wellness goals with premium ready-to-eat meals featuring high-quality ingredients such as broccolini, leeks, and asparagus. Treat yourself to 34-plus weekly restaurant-quality options like bruschetta shrimp risotto, green goddess chicken, and grilled steakhouse filet mignon. Ready in just 2 minutes. What are you having for dinner tonight? I'm having a black pepper and sage pork chop with smoked cheddar Brussels sprouts and creamy broccoli. You could too by joining me on the Factor bandwagon. Head to factormeals.com/MacVoices50 and use the code MacVoices50 to get 50% off. That's code MacVoices50 at factormeals.com/MacVoices50 to get 50% off. Thanks to Factor for their support of Mac Voices.
Jim, what do you have for us?
Gosh, I don't know. I just, the Tour de France just finished. So that kind of like soaked up most of my video watching for over 3 weeks. I'm still recovering from that.
So you don't have a watch list or something that you've been putting off, waiting to see or waiting to get to?
I don't know. Have not watched season 3 of Picard yet, so need to get on that.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. Yeah, I figured that. Yeah, I don't know. I watch a lot of Acorn and BritBox. So there's just tons of good stuff on both of those channels. Just started watching something called Ridley that looks good. Seen like 4 episodes so far.
Okay. So there's a different recommendation in a whole channel as opposed to just a series or two. I like it.
Yeah. Not too many people watch those channels, but
There's just so much fantastic stuff.
You know, Jim, I've seen both of those, and I'm very intrigued by them. I wish they were somewhat bundled with something else. I think just on their own, because I got so many other streaming channels, I don't know if I want to do just another individual, but if it was BritBox bundled with something else.
You can buy both of them as add-ons through Amazon Prime, which is how I got BritBox. You can do that with Acorn too, but I had it before that was offered that way, so I still have separate. I also have PBS Masterpiece through Amazon Prime, and that's got a lot of good stuff on it too.
Yeah. In the chat room, I'm just going to play a little catch up here. Brett and Jim have been talking about Shmigadoon, series season 1 and 2. And let's see, Barry agrees with you. He said he enjoyed Ridley, so you have a companion.
It's a good show.
Good. Okay. Brian, the man with the brand new microphone. What's on your list?
You know, there's one that I think the series had just ended. I want to say within the last 6 months to a year. But in a very popular show, but one that I hadn't seen. And I just recently picked it up, and my wife enjoys watching it with me too. That's the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, yeah.
And awesome show. I love it.
So you still have more to watch then?
Yeah.
How lucky for you.
Yeah, it's a nice treat to be able to still enjoy it. I believe there's 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And for those who haven't jumped in yet on it, it's pretty easy to get into because the seasons are 8 to 10 episodes per season, and so relatively quick to be able to enjoy. I'm at the very start of season 4, and then my wife got interested in it, and so I stopped watching newer episodes, and we're watching them together now, and we're at the beginning of season 2. And so probably within the next week or two, we'll get her caught up and I'll get to enjoy new episodes.
That's a great show. It's interesting how they really wrapped it up the last season. I've never seen a show wrap up so comprehensively as that show did on their final season. In fact, they basically wound up, jumping ahead, even filling you into basically today. They did, so the show starts out, of course, in like 1960 or so, and most of it's through the 60s. But in last season, they have a bunch of time jumps, and they jump forward to the 70s and 80s, and at the very end, they jump forward to like basically yesterday. And so you find out what happened to all the characters.
That's fantastic. I can't wait. It really is a great show, and I've really been enjoying it. It's neat to see the different, some of the reoccurring characters that come in for a season and stick around for a while, and it's fantastic. Yeah,
the writing is so great. The acting, I love Tony Shalhoub.
Mm-hmm.
He's great at everything he does.
He's great. I was just gonna say, I loved him in Monk. Was good in Wings. Was great in this.
Excellent.
That's a show that just never grabbed me.
What's that? Maisel?
Yeah, I never.
Really?
I haven't seen any of it. Just the whole. I never could. Whatever the premise was, I'm sure I knew it at some point. Just didn't appeal to me. So.
Did you actually never watch any of it?
Yeah, never watched it. Never got past the idea of it appealing to me.
You should watch. You should at least give it a try. Okay. It's really a great show.
Take Jim's advice. Put it on your to-do list.
Forget what the premise is. I don't. It's not about the. I mean, I don't think it'll matter that it's it's about this. I've heard that it sort of was inspired by Phyllis Diller. I just heard that recently. I don't know if that's really true. I don't know if that's really true. I don't know enough about Phyllis Diller to know, and I was never a big fan of hers. But
well, she came up in that era.
Yeah, it's so a groundbreaking female comedian. What's the difference?
Wow. What delivery, Jim? What delivery?
So, that's what the character, she was a housewife wife that became a comedian, and, mostly a struggling comedian through most of the 4.5 of the seasons, or actually through 4 seasons and 7 episodes. I think it's 8 episodes.
Stop, because you're going into spoiler territory, and I haven't seen that far ahead. No. You're going into spoiler territory.
Come on, it's not like you didn't know what,
No spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
It's not fair to us or to
Because you just walked right up to the line of, if you said anything else, I would just stop watching the show because I'd have too many spoilers. I actually stopped watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer after I was given spoilers, because it ruined so much of what was coming for me.
You must watch shows more than once then, because I watch things.
Oh, I'll watch things over and over, but the first time I watched them, I want to be able to experience the surprises along with everyone else. I want to get my first surprises. And then when I go back and watch them again, then I'm watching them in a different way.
You must not have not watched very much of the last season, because they kind of spoil it themselves pretty early.
I haven't even gotten to the last season.
Oh. Well, get on it. That ended weeks ago.
I'm on, I think, season 3 still.
Oh. Well.
There's so much to watch. It's so hard to keep up. And I didn't get into Maisel until well after it was, or until several seasons in, because it was just
so addictive.
Oh, it is.
It's one of those shows that's, it's almost impossible to watch just one, or even 3. Because it gets to the end, and it's like, oh yeah, I got to roll it over. Chuck's like shaking his head, like,
yeah. It's like, hey, listen, now that you said it, I do remember a clip, and I don't think this is a spoiler, where apparently the lead character, they're trying to tell her why she can't do something because that's the way the industry does it, and she said, "Well, change the industry." And I admit that one line, I like the attitude, but I just sort of got lost. It got lost in so many other things that I wanted to watch. So now it's back on my list. So yeah, your work is done here, Jim. Good job. Good job.
Well, it's Brian.
Oh, it's Brian's. That's right. It was Brian's. Excuse me. Well, you were the one selling it. Brian.
Well, Brian was selling it. I just, I went for the clothes.
Yeah. Good comedian tie-in.
Oh, David, what do you got for us?
Well, before I pick what I picked, I have to say Stranger Worlds is now going to be even more extra special this season, because I had the pleasure of being able to watch 2 great episodes with Jeff in person and the Ready Room, and it was the best part was the Lower Decks episode was one of them, which is absolutely
so cool getting to watch the episodes with you, Dave.
Yeah, that was like so fun. So Stranger Worlds is to me has a new meaning with that show, but.
Yeah, Dave, when I watched this last week's episode, it just didn't feel the same because you weren't there with me.
Yeah, exactly. I have to do it like virtual.
Right.
I got kind of hooked on this. This is a 4-episode documentary. It's on the Max, with the formerly known as HBO Max, and it's the 100 years of the Warner Brothers. And it's a 4-episode documentary. And I kind of like watching a lot of the history of industry. This, Warner Brothers has just a remarkable history from going back, over 100 years. And from the beginning of when it started with the Warner Brothers, all the way up to Dirty Harry, E.T., and moving on to Batman, and all of the other great things that they've done over these years. So it's a lot of fun. Each episode's right around a little under an hour, and it's just going through the history of the movie industry in itself. And watching this is fun. I'm just wrapping up episode 3, and then there's a fourth episode, and that's a 4-part series. So I think that's a kind of a fun show to see. And Max has been putting on some other cool things, and I'll even throw in a second one. They had a great documentary about Mary Tyler Moore. There's a lot of things I didn't know about her. It's something else you should check out too.
What's that on?
This is all on Max or HBO Max. There's a couple, there's some great things. It's called Being Mary Tyler Moore. A little bit documentary movie. And they also have another one by Rock Hudson, So I'm going to watch that one next. So I got to give you 3.
Okay. I didn't take you for a documentary guy, Dave.
Yeah, I enjoy your documentaries. Whether it's like movies or sports, I always enjoy watching sports documentaries. And, yeah, it's fun.
I just thought of an opposite thing, something I was really looking forward to and didn't like and couldn't finish, that maybe some of you will have contrary takes on, and that's Foundation. And I've never managed to get past, I've tried twice, and I've never managed to get past episode 3. And that's, I have read those books probably 20 times. I first read them when I was probably 11 or 12, and I've read them over and over again. They keep getting shorter. It turns out they were, books were tiny in those days. And in fact, actually, after watching a couple of the episodes, I went and reread the books again last year, which I found enjoyable, but I just could not get into the TV show.
I found the TV show to be much more compelling than the books, and I enjoyed the books.
Really, to me, it was just it was so jumpy, and the way I could see why it would be so difficult, because the books span 5 centuries, and the characters keep changing and whatnot, completely, because they're each new story, all the characters are dead, and we got all new characters. So it makes it difficult to and it was beautiful cinematography and whatnot, but I just couldn't I couldn't even force myself to watch another episode. It's nah, I can't.
I've actually really been enjoying Foundation. I think one thing that's helped me though was especially going from season 1 to 2, with a bit of a break in between, was I subscribed to the companion podcast that they do for the show, and that's really helped to remember some of the points that they're making, and just to revisit oh yeah, that makes sense. That's that's how still how so and so's related, or where they're at, and what's the the idea of that part of the galaxy, and that type of thing. But
if you've read the trilogy, it's it ended up being how many? But the basic 3-book trilogy it spans so many decades or millennia, and
I think it's 400 or 500 years.
Yeah, and so as a result, it's even that can be a challenge to sort of pick up and follow along. So I was anxious to see how well it would play on TV, and right now I have not started the second season, but the first season I was kind of B+. I feel like it's trying to get its footing under it, because it's taking on such an enormous task. So I will report it after I've gotten into season 2 a little more.
I'll probably give it another try again at some point, but it's just definitely did not. And as we've all been saying, there's so much else, to watch, then it'd just be well, shall I watch that? Oh, no, I'm going to watch,
Well, for those who have watched season 1, I'm kind of curious. Do you feel because I feel like this, I feel like that might be a show better binged, so that you can kind of keep track of things a little easier, as opposed to, watching this week, then watching next week, and trying to pick back up. Anybody else have that impression?
Yeah, or
I
if
think-
it does a lead cap. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just a suggestion, Jim, if you're so inclined.
I think I waited so that I could do that, but I think I really liked the first one, and then like the second and third just got progressively more. It's like I don't really care about any of these characters. It's just I don't care about any of this.
What?
So I don't know. I started it off, by saying I figured that this would engender discussion, and that probably nobody else would feel that way about it. So I'm probably wrong, but it's just I tend to be enthusiastic about things, and that was one thing that I was like, yeah, nah.
Next time on Mac Voices, the panel continues their list of recommendations of things that you might want to watch during the writer's strike and during this slow tech news time of year. Documentaries, old favorites, new shows you probably haven't heard of, and a whole lot more are coming your way next time on Mac Voices. Until then, I'm Chuck Joyner. As always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.